So you have the generator over here, and this generator, the power will be transmitted through the transmission line to the load. So when you are considering a transmission line, basically you have a long wire of conductor. Okay. So when you have conductor, it will resistance associated with it, and also it will have inductance. So the series elements of the transmission line will be what all? You have to consider resistance and inductance. And when this is a conductor which is separated by a dielectric material in between it, so you will have capacitance and conductance associated with it. So the series impedance is basically because of R and L. So usually you will write the equation as R plus J omega L, and the other one, that is you have the parallel impedance which is G plus J omega C. Okay. So, and next component, mainly when you consider a transmission line, is what? Characteristic impedance. So whatever the transmission line, it will have some impedance associated with it. So that we call it as characteristic impedance. That is depending on the physical structure of the transmission line. So how do you write the equation for transmission line? So basically you have a second order differential equation which we have written with respect to, and then you have found out the solutions for the transmission line. How did you write the solution? So you have V of Z and I of Z. So V of Z will be equal to V plus into e raised to minus gamma Z plus V minus into e raised to gamma Z. So V plus is the wave traveling in the positive Z direction, that is from the generator towards the load, and the V minus, that is the wave traveling from the load towards the generator. So one is V plus is the wave traveling in the positive Z direction. So Z means basically the length of the line. So V plus means the wave traveling in the positive Z direction, and V minus means the wave traveling in the negative Z direction. Now, when you consider characteristic impedance, so that is basically depending upon the characteristic or the physical conductor. So that we can write it as, how do you write it? We write it in terms of series impedance and parallel impedance. So when you consider characteristic impedance, so basically it is depending upon the physical conductor. So how do you write it? You write it as root of Z divided by Y. And what is Z? How do you write it? So as I've told you, in this conductor, what all are the series components? You have R and L. Those are the series components. So we will write it as Z is dependent on R plus J omega L. And what is Y dependent on? Y is depending on the parallel components. So parallel components are G and C. So you write it as G plus J omega C. So basically you should remember these formulas. So the wave is varying exponentially, decreasing and increasing. So now the next parameters that you have to consider is propagation constant. So what do you mean by propagation constant? So here you have the generator which will be transmitting the power. So when the wave is traveling, how it is transmitting, whether it is getting attenuated, whether its phase is changing. So that is measured using propagation constant, which we represent it as gamma. So gamma is written as alpha plus j beta. Alpha is what? If the wave is traveling, whether it is getting attenuated. It's a measure of how much the wave is getting attenuated. And beta is the phase constant. So if it is a lossless line, what we will do, we will substitute alpha equal to 0. Because it is attenuation, we will substitute it equal to 0. Now the next concepts which you should remember here is input impedance. So when you have considered this is your transmission line, so this is known as the sending end. So input impedance means we are finding out what will be the impedance at this point. So that is known as input impedance. Now the other concept which you should know is reflection coefficient. So what do you mean by reflection coefficient? So as I have told you, this physical conductor will have characteristic impedance as Z0. Now this is your load which will have a characteristic impedance as ZL. Suppose this load's characteristic impedance is different from characteristic impedance. So that means if ZL is not equal to Z0, what happens? Whatever we are trying to transmit from this generator towards the load, it will not be completely transmitted. Some of the waves will be lost. It will not be completely delivered to the load. So if the wave is not completely delivered, what happens? A wave is traveling from here, it will not completely get delivered, so it will get reflected back. So a combination of, you have a combination of a wave, forward wave and a reflected wave. So reflection coefficient means it is a measure of reflected voltage or current divided by incident voltage or current, and you represent it as gamma. Is it? Now next one is, so you have another parameter known as transmission coefficient. So what do you mean by transmission coefficient? So that is equal to the transmitted voltage or current divided by the incident voltage or current. So now considering again, the next parameter to be considered is voltage standing wave ratio. So voltage standing wave ratio means what you are doing. So in case when the ZL, that is your load impedance, is not equal to the characteristic impedance. So what happens? A wave is traveling from the generator towards the load. So everything will not get delivered to the load. So some of the waves will be reflected back. So what happens? There will be a combination of forward waves and reflected waves. So that results in what is known as voltage standing waves. It's a combination of forward waves and reflected waves. So we also have a ratio of representation, voltage standing wave ratio, which is given by Vmax divided by V minimum. Vmax divided by V minimum. Also, we can write it in terms of reflection coefficient. How did you write it? 1 plus gamma, absolute of gamma divided by 1 minus absolute of gamma. Then you have line impedance. So as I've told you, if you are measuring the impedance at the sending end, we call it as input impedance. Then if it is the characteristic impedance, if the impedance of this conductor, then we call it as Z0, characteristic impedance. Suppose you want to measure the impedance at any point on the line. So that corresponds to line impedance. So almost you can see input impedance and line impedance will be almost the same. Only the length what we consider is varying in that. Also we have found out that. So these are basically what you should remember with respect to transmission line.